Is this a joke? Like, no, Bobbi, we don't do that. Guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm so excited to share with you the lessons that I learned from Bobbi Brown's Masterclass. You guys, if you want to see the 7 steps to recreating the perfect smoky eye, also using some of my techniques and some things I would do differently. There are also things that Bobbi Brown does on her masterclass that are big no-nos, and I want to make sure that you don't learn from those mistakes. So if you guys want to see the good, the bad, the everything, keep on watching. So in the masterclass, there are over 75 lessons from the best in the world. And you can learn anything from cooking, I have it up here, from tech and advertising and creativity, teaches Mexican food, how to cook Mexican food, communication, negotiation, storytelling, and these are all from the best. There is only, as of right now, only one beauty masterclass, and it is from Bobbi Brown, one of the best known makeup artists. I was very excited to take the lesson and see and learn as much as possible, and I thought it was really fun to do a smoky eye, which she teaches. But of course, as with any lesson that you take, any YouTube video that you watch, anything that you read, you want to make it your own. You don't want to imitate and follow every single step, because we are all different. We all have different needs. And so I want to show you, I want to follow her steps, but also give you my suggestions on how I would do things differently. There are also some things that she does that I'm still very shocked by, that 2020 Bobbi Brown is still thinks it's okay to do. So I want to just dive in, because the intro is already long enough. And I did write down a bunch of things, you guys. I watched it twice, actually 3 times. And the 3rd time I'm like, let me just take notes. So I have notes here. So if you see me looking, it's because I want to make sure that I don't leave out any information. Okay. So Bobbi Brown on the masterclass starts by telling you what not to do, which I find very helpful. So her suggestion on what not to do is, 1, do not put a black eyeliner or black eyeshadow all over your eyes. And I can't agree more. The last thing you want to do is start with that step, because then every other step from that is going to be that much difficult. Any other color that you use to diffuse it, it's just going to start to get muddy and just not a good look. It's more work. So definitely I agree with Bobbi on that. Do not start by applying a black cream or black eyeshadow all over your eyes. Then she also recommends, do not imitate the looks that you see in the runway. I mean, you guys, one thing is a runway look. These looks are meant to look extravagant and different and stand out. Those are usually not your everyday or wearable looks, so steer clear from that. He also recommends that you don't imitate the smoky eyes from the 60s. We are in 2020, things have evolved, things have changed, so I agree with that tip. He also recommends that you do not put a dark lip color or anything that's gonna stand out, and keep everything, keep all the focus on the eyes. Now, I agree, but also disagree a little bit. I've created beautiful smoky eyes, not only on myself, but on my clients when I worked as a makeup artist, and then did a bold lip, and it worked. It depends on the person, the occasion, and what you like. So I wouldn't say that that's a rule to never break. I believe that you can do whatever you want, even if you want to create the runway looks. Of course, these are suggestions. So you guys, before we get started, what you will need for this look is an eyeshadow palette that has a light, medium, and dark shade. The main palette that I'm going to be using is the Fenty Beauty Snap Shadow, and this is the Smoky number 6. But for my light shade, I'm going to be using this color here, Swarm, from my Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. This one right here. You guys would need 1 or 2 flat medium brushes, and this is a little bit fluffier. This is the Japanesque 712 brush, and this is a true flat medium brush, and this is the MAC 253, I believe. Q-tips, I have them right here. Mascara. So her recommendation for a smoky eye is to layer eyeshadows, and that is the technique that I am going to be using. Now, she starts applying the first shade on her model without any priming. She's actually suggesting that you use the eyeshadow, your first eyeshadow base. That doesn't work for me. I have a green vein that comes all the way from here down here. I also have a scar and a lot of like redness and discoloration around my eyes. So my tip would be to conceal and prep your eyes. I also feel that it does a way better job when you do that than if you just go straight with eyeshadow. Just going to conceal the eye area. I am going all the way up to my brow bone. And I'm focusing only on the lid area, the top lid area, and then close to the lash line. Bobbi's tip is to do your eyes first, and I do agree that when you are doing a smoky eye, that is the best way to go. You can move faster, you can do what you gotta do, blend the eye and not worry about any fallouts, and then perfect your base. Okay, so now that I followed my own step, I'm going to follow Bobbi's brown suggestions. And she starts by layering the first eyeshadow, which is your lightest eyeshadow. It's in Sweet and Swarm from the Urban Decay Honey palette. And the reason is because Sweet has a little bit of pink, but Swarm has a little bit of yellow. Lids, and she brings it up above the crease. So your crease is right here. For most people, you can feel the bone. And you want to just go a little bit above that. I'm going to be using the same brush here by Japanesque to be my medium shade, and this is going to be my dark. I'm going to apply the second darkest shade on the lids and the crease. So on my lids. And I am bringing it up to my crease and a little bit higher. For my eye shape, I have to go a little bit higher because I do have a hooded eye. So whatever I apply on the actual crease, it gets lost anyway. So I am going to bring it a little bit higher. Normally, I would be using a blending brush for the crease area, but I want to just follow her technique for most of this look. If you guys follow me on Instagram, then you probably saw the swatches for this Fenty palette when I first purchased it. Were not good at all. I actually was very disappointed, and that's why I kind of set it to the side and haven't played with it. And now that I am actually applying it on the eyes, it's very consistent to my swatches, and it's not a good formula. At least this shade right here is not blending nicely. It is inconsistent, very inconsistent, and I prep my eyes how I normally do. Make it work, because this is more about the techniques and the lessons than it is it's not a review, but I do have to keep it real. So we're moving on to step 3. Bobbi then applies the darkest shade on the lash line and blends up. I don't have to be really precise with this application, because now we're just gonna blend that black shade up. This is the second thing that I would do completely different, and actually please take note of this, especially if you are a makeup artist or aspiring to become one. Bobbi Brown applies, before she applies this third shade, I believe, the darkest shade, she dips it in her brush and advises, she actually recommends it, that you blow on the brush to diffuse the shades. You guys, you do not want to blow on your brushes at all. This and this should not ever like meet. And especially if you are, again, if you're aspiring to be a makeup artist, like that is a big no. When I saw that, I was like, wait, what? What you do is dip your brush in the palette, and then we tap off the excess like this. And with a Q-tip, I'm going to take a Q-tip. I'm going to soften the outer half, like the outer end here, because I want to make sure that it doesn't start to form a cat eye. Using that same dark shade and the same brush, I am going to apply it on my bottom lash line. So one of my tips for blending upwards, it is to put your eyeshadow brush facing down, then apply the shade and then lift up. This is a lot easier than going this direction, because you can just see where the color is going and how high you want to go. I made the mistake here of doing this, and I applied it in places that I wish I hadn't. I'm gonna apply the shade Sweet and mix it with Flyby, these two here, instead of the Swarm, because that's a little bit too warm. And this is a good time to take your to kind of blend out whatever harshness you have around here. One tip that Bobbi recommends, and I completely agree, is you want to connect the line. So you want to connect your bottom lash line with your upper. Just taking that shade and I'm blending it up just so that they connect a little bit. Step 5 is to take an eyeliner, and today I'm going to be using the Milani Stay Put eyeliner in After Dark. And I am going, so she recommends that you apply it tight, close to the eyelashes, and then you use a Q-tip to clean up the end. So I am going to close my eyes and apply it as close to the lash line. Eyeliner actually has the perfect, it has like a little smudging tool right there. So I'm going to take that smudging tool and kind of just blend that liner with that dark shade that I applied. Now she doesn't do this step. All she does is blend out the end, but I feel that this looks a little better. Guys, on Bobbi's tutorial, she only applied an eyeliner on top and left the bottom bare. That is an option you can always do, but for a smoky eye, I love having the darkness all over. So I am going to take the liner and apply it on my waterline as well. My tip for you is to tight line. Because when you tight line, you guys, you get that intensity and you are able to cover any little gap that might, you know, be like I have a little gap over here. You want to make sure that there are no gaps. And you also just make the lash line and your eyes just like pop that much more when you tight line. We are going to move on to mascara. And Bobbi recommends that you use a really dark mascara, and also recommends a more volumizing mascara instead of a lengthening or curling, because you can always curl them yourself. So that being said, I am going to curl my lashes, and the Urban Decay Perversion Waterproof Mascara. Only one coat of mascara, because I am going to be applying lashes, which I recommend. Always do a strip like these ones here. I'm going to be using actually pre-cut lashes, which you can just do the one, but because I want to strategically put some in some areas and avoid other areas, that's what I'm going to be doing. You can also use individual, which is my favorite, but I ran out of them. Step 7, let's apply a shimmery eyeshadow on the lids. By this shimmer where I'm gonna be able to actually see it and it won't get lost. So I'm applying it like somewhere in between my lid and that darkest shade. I'm actually gonna switch to my fingers. Control. Oh, that is such a pretty shade. I think that's the only shade, you guys, that I like from this palette. Did cover some of the shades that I apply first. For this particular look, and because of the quality of the eyeshadows that I used, I'm actually not mad. I actually like it a lot better now. I was starting to really be pissed off. It's gonna come together even more. That's the thing about smoky eyes, you guys, that I do want to warn you and let you know, is that it looks crazy. It's one of those looks that when you start to do it, it might give you anxiety because it's like, this is looking like a mess. But when everything comes together, the face, the lips, everything, it just comes together in such a nice way. So do have patience and be wary of that. Switch lens because we don't need all this closeness, and I'll be right back. So another thing that I would do differently, I just remember because I'm about to apply my concealer. So before Bobbi applies the model's concealer, she recommends that you fluff out any excess with a brush. She also recommends to apply an oil stick, an oil under the eyes to remove any fallout. Now, I wouldn't recommend that because the oil is going to leave a residue on your skin, which will break down your concealer. And so my recommendation would be to use an oil-free makeup remover wipe to wipe off the excess, or an alcohol-free toner or essence that it's safe to use around this area would be an excellent substitute for that. To concealer, and I'm going to use the same one I used to prep my eyes. This is the Shape Tape Concealer, and I am the shade 345 Medium Sand. Another thing that I noticed is she didn't apply any foundation. She just applied concealer on her model. She might have done it before before doing the look, so and she didn't really mention it. Whether she did or not. I also believe that if you are applying makeup on your eyes, you do need some makeup on your skin as well, a little bit, something, even if it's just tinted moisturizer, but your face needs a little bit of attention, because when your eyes look nice and perfected and you have some lashes, mascara, or whatever it is, and your face is bare, I don't think I don't think that works. Lightly set under the eyes using this Well People Bio Brightener Invisible Powder. I'm actually gonna use my highlighter brush from Anastasia because I'm not trying to bake or anything here. I'm just trying to lightly. I am going to warm up my skin using the Wet n Wild What Shady Beaches bronzer. I really love this bronzer since I tried it last year. And I'm gonna take a big fluffy brush. This is MAC 153 because I'm not trying to contour. I'm just want to bronze up my skin. You know what I should have tried now that I'm doing this? Maybe I should have tried doing exactly what she did on my face, and then so that you see why it wouldn't work for me. If you ever notice that some areas look a little harsh from your bronzer, you can always take your beauty blender or whatever you use to apply your foundation and blend that in a little bit. To incorporate some high and low on this video, and actually on all my videos. I want to give more options. And this is new. I'm actually taking the tag. This is the first time I use it. This is Pinch Me Pink. And again, this is by Wet n Wild. And I'm going to take this brush here is by Luxie, and it is a foundation brush. But I've actually been really liking this to apply my blushes. And I'm just going to apply it on the cheeks. And blush is such an important step, and really is the only other step apart from lipstick that she does on her tutorial. And it's because it just wakes you up. It gives you that like fresh look, and it makes you, it doesn't make the smoky eye look too gothy, or I mean, unless you're going for a goth look. But this blush is like freshens up the whole face. I love it. I'm going to use a highlighter, and this is by Wet n Wild, and this is a Mega Glow highlighting powder in Golden Flower Crown. And I'm gonna use the Anastasia Beverly Hills A23 brush. Bobbi Brown does not even talk about on this tutorial is brows. And brows play such an important part when it comes to your eye makeup. It brings everything together. I wouldn't skip doing your brows. Even if you have full brows, in that case, I would just apply a little gel liner, clear liner, just to tame them a little bit. But I would always do a little bit something. I wouldn't leave them as is. And especially after you apply foundation, you tend to get foundation on them, and yeah, that's not a good look. So I'm gonna first and foremost, I'm gonna take a clean Q-tip and clean my brows, and I'm gonna show you what I mean. See, it has foundation. So you want to remove that foundation, because otherwise your brow product is gonna look, it's not gonna look as neat as you'd want it to. My NYX Professional Makeup Micro Brow Pencil, and this is in the shade Espresso. Actually, to my it's done, guys. There is like just like a little tip. So bye. But I do have a new one that I picked up from Wet n Wild. It's still in the packaging, and this is Wet n Wild Retractable Brow Pencil. And I got the shade Ash Brown, and it comes with a spoolie on the other side, which I'm gonna take to first brush my brows up. And then I am going to just fill in where I need. And I'm not trying to make the brow like too perfect and like sharp and defined. With a smoky eye, I feel like you can get away with just filling them in where you need them the most, and just leaving them kind of like a more naturally defined look. You know what I mean? What I'm doing for the brows, this was actually an interesting brush. I want to use it again. Again, this is not a review of any of these products, except for the Fenty eyeshadow palette. Don't buy it, you guys. Like, usually I'm like flexible with things, but this swatch bad, the quality, I mean, except for that glittery one, but it's not worth $25 for just this one shade. I'm gonna line my lips using MAC Spice. On the tutorial, Bobbi does not line the model's lips. She uses a tone close to her skin, and that's all she applies. But I believe that lining your lips is such an important step. Whether, even if you're using a tone very close to your lip line, it just helps you create more dimension to them. And I would also recommend you go a little bit darker on your lip liner than your actual lipstick. For lips, I am going to be using the Charlotte Tilbury KKW. And it is a very like nude, a true nude lipstick with some hints of like pink and peach in them. It's very pretty. Guys, I'm gonna finish this look by applying some falsies, but before, I want you to see how it looks without them, and I'll be right back. This is the look now with some lashes. I'm happy. I am actually very, very happy with this, how this look turned out. I will repeat this again. When you are doing a smoky eye, it is a challenge, you guys. I hope that you guys found this very helpful. I certainly did. I learned so many things, even though there are things that I would have done different. But that being said, I did learn so much from this Bobbi Brown masterclass. I respect her so much as a makeup artist. So I'm hope, you know, I don't come off as I'm offending her or critiquing her techniques. She is a master at her craft, and I would never do that. But that being said, I also have many, many years in the business, and there are things that, of course, I would do different. I'm sure that if you're a makeup artist yourself, or if you've been playing around with makeup, there's things that you would do different than I do. And that is the beauty of makeup, is that everyone has their own techniques, everybody has their own tips, and everybody has something to add into the game that some people can relate to and others won't. But as long as you have fun and that you are happy with your outcome, that's all that matters. And I'm happy with this look. It is actually, I'm not going to take it off. When I first started, I'm like, I'm going to wash this off as soon as I'm done. But that won't be the case. I'm actually just going to rock it all day. So you guys, if you want to see more videos like this, please make sure to subscribe, make sure to like and comment. It really helps me out, and I hope to see you on the next video. Bye.